My wife announced, "I'm getting my tubes tied. No kids ever." I said, "Your body." Then I filed for divorce and married her younger sister. The pregnancy announcement at Christmas destroyed her. I'm 32 male, a planner. I plan my finances, my career, my vacations. For 8 years, I planned a life with my wife, Alara, 31. We dated for 3, married for 5. Our 5-year plan, the one we mapped out on a bar napkin on our 2nd anniversary, was simple. Pay off her student loans, save for a down payment, buy a house, and then start trying for kids. We hit every single benchmark, ahead of schedule, even. 3 months ago, we closed on our first home. I spent weeks assembling nursery furniture, not because we were expecting, but because I was excited, because that was the plan. We stood in the empty room smelling the fresh paint, and I remember saying, 2 years from now, this room won't be so quiet. She smiled, or I thought she did. Last Tuesday, she made an announcement. It wasn't a discussion, it was a verdict. We were eating dinner. I was talking about converting the small office into a playroom eventually. She put her fork down, looked me dead in the eye, and said, "I'm not having kids, Julian. I've scheduled my tubal ligation for next month. It's done." I just stared at her. The silence was so loud. All our plans, our conversations, the late-night whispers about what we'd name them, all of it just evaporated. "Okay," I said, my voice eerily calm. She blinked, surprised. I think she was expecting a fight, a tantrum, a negotiation. "Okay? That's it?" "It's your body, Alara," I said, picking up my fork again. "Your choice." She relaxed, a triumphant little smile playing on her lips. "I knew you'd understand. I don't want to give up my life, you know? Our life, we can travel, we can be spontaneous." I just nodded and finished my meal. I didn't understand, and she didn't know me at all if she thought I would. She hadn't just decided she didn't want kids. She had decided to void the entire contract of our marriage, unilaterally. She had let me buy a house, build a nursery, and dream a future she had no intention of sharing. She watched me do it and said nothing. That wasn't a change of heart. That was deception. The next morning, while she was at her spin class, I called a lawyer. I packed a bag. I transferred half the money from our savings account, my half from my inheritance, into a new account in my name only. I took one thing off the wall, a ridiculous, oversized custom map of the world we'd bought together, where we'd planned to put pins in all the places we'd take our kids. When she got home, I was sitting on the sofa with a folder. "What's that?" she asked, sweaty and smiling. "Divorce papers," I said. "Our plan is over, which means we are too." Her face fell. The entitlement, the smug confidence, it all curdled into disbelief. "You're divorcing me? Over kids? That's insane. We have a great life." "No," I corrected her. "You have the life you want. I was actively building a life you secretly had no intention of living. That's not a partnership. That's fraud." She's been calling, texting, screaming for days. She says I'm throwing everything away over a hypothetical person. She's wrong. I'm throwing her away for a very real betrayal. My lawyer says it should be a clean break. No kids, separate finances for the most part, house is the only real asset. She thinks this is a negotiation tactic. She thinks I'll come to my senses. I won't. I'm not sad, I'm empty. But my plans have changed. The goal is the same, just the person I'm building it with is now TBD. Update 1. Things have escalated. As predicted, Alara's shock turned to incandescent rage. The divorce is proceeding, but not cleanly. Her new favorite word is alimony. Her lawyer is arguing that her emotional distress from my sudden and cruel abandonment has impacted her ability to work. It's nonsense, but it's a delay tactic. Her main point of contention, bizarrely, has become a piece of furniture. It's a large wooden art cabinet I designed and built myself. It has dozens of shallow drawers for storing prints and canvases. The unique thing about it is the base. I built a hidden compartment into the thick bottom platform. My grandfather was a skilled woodworker, and when I was a kid, he built me a small treasure box with a similar secret latch. Inside, he left his old carving tools. My plan was always to do the same for my own kid one day, to pass down those same tools in a piece of furniture I made myself. It's the only thing besides my clothes and the world map that I insisted on taking. Alara is fighting me for it. She called it that clunky thing for years, but now it's a priceless marital asset. She knows what it means to me. She told her lawyer I was trying to steal a family heirloom. My lawyer just rolled his eyes. We have photos of me building it in our old apartment's garage long before we were married. It's a transparent, petty power play. Her family, Adrian and Lena, have been awful. They called me, not to understand, but to lecture. Alara made a decision for her own body, Julian. You punish her for that by destroying your marriage? Lena screamed at me over the phone. I just said, I'm not punishing her. I'm accepting her decision and making my own. You can't have a marriage when you're working from two completely different blueprints. The one sane person in this whole mess has been her younger sister, Kala, 27F. She called me about a week after the split. I am so sorry, Julian, she said, her voice quiet. I don't know what Alara was thinking. She told me she'd been feeling this way for a year. I told her she had to talk to you. I never thought she'd just ambush you. It was like a dam broke. I just talked for an hour. Kala listened. She didn't judge, didn't make excuses for Alara. She just got it. We started talking more regularly, just texts at first, then calls. She's a graphic designer, and she actually appreciates the art cabinet, asking about the type of wood and the joinery. It was nice to talk to someone who didn't see me as a villain. Last week, we met for coffee. It wasn't a date. It was just two people, shipwrecked by the same storm, finding a bit of dry land. She told me the family is putting immense pressure on her to talk some sense into me. She refused. My sister lied to you for over a year, Julian, she said, stirring her latte. She let you buy a house for a family she knew she didn't want. That's not a simple change of mind. That's a betrayal. Hearing her say it, so simply, was a bigger relief than I could ever express. Alara found out we met for coffee. I don't know how, probably stalked Kala's social media. She lost her mind. She sent me a string of 30+ texts accusing me of starting an affair with her sister before we separated. She said I was trying to turn her own family against her. It's a new layer of her entitlement. I get to detonate our life, but you're not allowed to find comfort with anyone, especially not someone in my orbit. My lawyer sent a cease and desist regarding the harassment, and we won the argument over the art cabinet. My lawyer produced the receipts for the lumber, dated 2 years before our wedding. Alara was furious. She's not just losing the marriage anymore. She's losing control, and she absolutely cannot stand it. Update 2, it's been a lifetime. The divorce was finalized 4 months ago. Alara's claim for alimony was dismissed after her own social media showed her on 2 different international vacations post-separation. Her lawyer quietly dropped the emotional distress angle. The house sold. After everything was split, we both walked away with a decent nest egg. I put mine straight into a new condo. Smaller, but it's all mine. The art cabinet sits in my new living room. It looks better here. Kala and I are together. It happened organically, without any drama. The coffee dates turned into dinners. The dinners turned into her staying over to watch movies. One night, it just felt right. We've been officially a couple for about 7 months. To say it caused an explosion in her family is an understatement. It was a full-on cataclysm. Alara, upon finding out, went scorched earth. She didn't just scream at me, she tried to poison everyone against Kala. She told her parents that Kala had been waiting in the wings for years, that she'd seduced me when I was vulnerable. Adrian and Lena, her parents, bought it hook, line, and sinker. They called Kala and disowned her. I'm not exaggerating. Her father told her she was dead to him for dancing on the grave of her sister's marriage. They cut her off completely. No calls, no money, not that she needed it, but it was the principle, nothing. It was brutal. For about a week, Kala was a wreck. She felt guilty, even though she'd done nothing wrong. I just held her. I let her cry. I reminded her that Alara's actions were the cause of all of this, not hers. We were just living in the crater she'd left behind. Alara's dirty tricks got more pathetic. She found out Kala had a big freelance project with a major beverage company. Alara tried to sabotage it. She sent an anonymous email to the project manager's public business address, full of lies about Kala being unprofessional, unstable, and a homewrecker. It backfired spectacularly. The project manager was a woman in her 50s who had been through a nasty divorce herself. She saw right through it. She called Kala, forwarded the email, and said, "Just so you know what you're dealing with. And for what it's worth, we're extending your contract." Kala's work was so good they wanted to keep her on retainer. So, Alara's attempt to ruin her career ended up giving her a promotion and a massive confidence boost. The whole ordeal solidified us. We were a team. The outside world, her family, her sister, it was all just noise. 6 weeks ago, we flew to the coast and got married on the beach. Just the two of us and a witness. We pulled off the street. It was perfect. Quiet, simple, and ours. We're happy. Genuinely, deeply happy. We bought a dog. We're making our own plans. We've started talking about our own timeline. A family. The thing I've always wanted. We haven't told anyone in her family that we're married. As far as they know, we're just dating. We decided to wait for the perfect moment, and Christmas is coming. Final update. It's over. The final domino has fallen. Kala's grandmother, a formidable woman who is the undisputed matriarch of the family, insisted on a holiday reconciliation at her house on Christmas Eve. Attendance was not optional. Kala was hesitant, but I told her we should go. We have nothing to hide and nothing to be ashamed of, I said. Let's walk in there as a unit. We knew Alara would be there. We were prepared. Or, we thought we were. The moment we walked in, the temperature in the room dropped by 20 degrees. Adrian and Lena gave us a look that could curdle milk. Alara was holding court by the fireplace, looking smug. She was pointedly ignoring us, which was fine by me. For an hour, we made small talk with cousins and aunts who were clearly uncomfortable. Then came the gift exchange. It was all very civil. Then Kala and I shared a look. It was time. We had a small, beautifully wrapped gift for her parents. Kala handed it to her mother, Lena. We have something we wanted to share with you both, she said, her voice steady. Lena opened it with a look of disdain. Inside was a simple silver picture frame. But there was no picture in it. Instead, engraved on the frame itself were the words, "Coming June 2026. Inside the frame we put a little card. It was the ultrasound picture. Lena stared at it. Her face went blank. She passed it to Adrian, whose jaw literally dropped. He looked at Kala. He looked at me. His eyes widened. Alara, noticing the sudden silence from her corner, sauntered over. What's going on? What'd you get? She asked, a fake bubbly tone in her voice. She peered over her father's shoulder at the frame, and then she saw it. I will never, for as long as I live, forget the look on her face. It wasn't just anger or shock. It was a full system short circuit. The smugness, the confidence, the entitlement, it all shattered into a million pieces in an instant. You're pregnant? She whispered, her voice cracking. Kala placed a hand on her stomach. She looked directly at her sister, her expression not triumphant, but serene. We're married, Alara, and yes, we're having a baby. That's when the meltdown began. It wasn't just yelling. It was a primal scream of loss and fury. You stole my life, she shrieked, pointing a trembling finger at Kala, then at me. That was supposed to be my house. My husband. She couldn't even say the word baby. You planned this. You were waiting for me to fail. The entire family was frozen, watching in horror. I stepped in front of Kala, not to be a hero, no, but just to be a barrier. I looked at Alara, my voice low and devoid of any emotion. Nobody stole anything from you, Alara. You gave it away. You held a winning lottery ticket in your hand, and you set it on fire because you decided you didn't want the prize. Kala and I just picked up a different ticket. I turned to her parents. And you two. You disowned one daughter for the crime of finding happiness, all to protect the one who lied and deceived everyone. You chose your side. I hope you're happy with it. Adrian and Lena looked utterly broken. They were staring at Kala's stomach, then at Alara's contorted, tear-streaked face. The dream of being grandparents was happening, but with the daughter they'd thrown away and the man they branded a villain. Their path to their first grandchild was through us, the people they had publicly condemned. You could see the frantic calculations happening behind their eyes. Alara was just sobbing now, incoherent things about betrayal and how unfair it all was. We didn't stay to watch the rest. Kala grabbed my hand and we walked out of that house, leaving the wreckage behind us. The car was silent on the way home. Kala finally broke the silence. I feel free, she whispered. My phone started buzzing before we even got home. A text from Lena. Kala, please, let's talk. Then one from Adrian. We are so sorry. We want to be in our grandchild's life. We ignored them. Last night, Kala and I were setting up the art cabinet in the new nursery. It's painted a soft yellow now. I opened the secret compartment, showing her how the latch worked. The old carving tools from my grandfather were nestled inside. "He would have liked you," I said, my voice thick with emotion. She leaned her head on my shoulder, her hand on her belly. "I think he would have too. This is my life now. It's not the life I planned 8 years ago on a bar napkin. It's better. It's real." Alara didn't just lose a husband. She lost the future she threw away, and now she has to watch it unfold right next door for the rest of her life. That's not revenge. It's just cause and effect. And it's a kind of justice I can live with.